Hey there, and welcome to the She Calls Her Shots podcast. Every week, we chat through different business building topics that will help you gain clarity around your goals, find inspiration in your journey, and also help you create a life and a business that you love. My name is Krista, and I'm a wedding and brand photographer and your go-to no-fluff business coach. In these episodes, we talk through both the tactical strategies, habits, and the mindset work that will help you take those really big leaps. And we always focus on the real talk and the behind the scenes of what it takes to create a sustainable and a thriving business. Because let's be honest, the work isn't always glamorous, but it's always worth it. So girlfriend, let's make some moves and start calling our own shots. Hello friend, and welcome back to the podcast. If you listened to my most recent episode, I was just re-listening to it, and the excitement that I had was like off the charts. So I'm just like laughing at myself now because the energy was so high because there was so much excitement literally bursting through my veins as I was recording that episode. So if you haven't listened in, I highly recommend you listen in. It was all about a pep talk around how we can reframe our money beliefs. But just know, if you did listen in, if you noticed it, if you're like, wow, Krista, you were really high energy, just know that like I agree. And it's just funny, right? It's just comical. Anyway, all of that. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm excited for the episode. Today, we're going to talk through how to attract and serve your clients, right? The clients that you want to be working with. And I'm really going to go through 3 prompts, 3 questions that you can ask yourself today to help you attract and be a magnet to those clients. First and foremost, as always, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me. We just recently celebrated 100 episodes, as you would have heard in my last episode, my last solo episode, and I'm just so grateful for that. I'm just so incredibly honored and grateful that you have joined me on this journey for so long, and I can't wait to see what's in store for the next 100 episodes. And as always, I want you to know that I want this podcast to be as impactful for you as possible. And so that means I would love to hear from you around what episodes or topics would be the most impactful for you. Like, what do you want to hear about more on the episodes? Is there any topics that I haven't touched on, or any topics that you would love for us to talk about again or more frequently? And so I'd love to hear from you. You can always reach me on Instagram at Hey Krista Marie. I am the person that will be responding to all of my DMs. So I love to be in my inbox and talking with people. So I would love to hear from you around what topics do you want to hear? What would be the most impactful and beneficial for you? But all of that said, thank you so much for listening in. Thank you for being here. And this topic today, like I said, is something that pretty consistently comes up for me with my clients, and both one-on-one and inside of our group coaching program, which just launched, which I'm so excited about. I'll share a little bit more about that later. But this is something that comes up a lot. And here's the thing, inside of the community, inside of my one-on-one coaching, I am consistently working with my clients on how to best attract their clients. But here's the thing, is that we're not approaching this from a standpoint of hustle, work harder, sell yourself more, right? Like that's not the energy that we bring into how to attract more clients. Because I've learned in business that not only do those things not work in the long run, like they're just not sustainable, and they're also not that enjoyable, but we also often face a lot of resistance to them, right? Like if someone told you this like big plan around how to attract more people, you're probably not going to be super excited to do it unless it was guaranteed to like get major results, right? And that, side note, that's kind of a big red flag for me, is when a lot of coaches or programs approach their frameworks in this way that's like, this is guaranteed to make you more money or get you more clients. And that's always just kind of been a red flag for me, because I understand that no one can guarantee, right? Like that's just not possible. And so it's always been something that's bothered me. But anyway, side note, that aside, that way of approaching business of like hustle, work harder, sell yourself more, right, is just not the thing that I've leaned into in my business, because it's not the thing that usually works in the long run. And instead, the things that I teach, the things that I focus on, They evolve around how to better understand your clients, right? It's getting more clarity. It's really getting curious and doing that deeper work of understanding how can I connect more with my clients so that I can understand their exact needs, right? We focus a lot around the energy that you need to have to understand that the way that you show up in your life and in your business ends up having a major impact on the types of clients that you're attracting. So a lot of times as business owners, we'll resist doing this work because it requires the deep inner work, right? Like that's the stuff we don't necessarily feel excited about doing because it requires us to get really honest with ourselves, right? So instead, we would rather rely on someone else's framework or strategy or tool or work harder method that's going to guarantee clients, right? But we already said those don't necessarily work. The thing that's going to work for you in the long run is that deep inner work, is figuring out how the posts and the stories that you're sharing, right? Really thinking about how we think about ourselves, how we think about our business, which in turn leads to how we show up in our business, right? So all of these things are so important in how we're going to attract clients. And like I said, today we're going to talk through 3 questions that you can ask yourself to become more of a magnet to your clients. And all of that said, let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, something that I found to be really helpful is understanding who are my ideal clients in who do they want to be, right? How do they want to feel? What are their priorities? Who is the type of person that my ideal client wants to be? And what do they want to have? And there's a few things, and no matter whether you're a service provider, if you are a coach, if you're a photographer, all of these questions can be answered from your niche and inside of your industry, right? Because from a photographer's perspective, let's talk about that first. Because I know sometimes for my photographers, we struggle with this question, right? Because we tend to think, well, I'm just a photographer, right? I'm just showing up and capturing their wedding day, right? As long as I take pretty photos or as long as I take beautiful photos of the family session, that's all that matters. We tend to limit ourselves in our impact and as if the buck stops there, right? This is all I do. This is all they're hiring me for. And this is it. But that's not true. And one thing I actually want to encourage you to think about is to remember that even if you're quote unquote just a photographer, right? You might think I don't need to live the same kind of life as my clients. I don't need to understand who they want to be or the things that are important to them or their values, right? If you find yourself thinking things like that, I'd love for you to explore this idea for a second. When it comes to someone choosing their photographer, they have a lot of options that they can choose from, right? There are a ton of really talented and amazing photographers out there. Let's just be honest, right? And you might take the most beautiful photos, but there's going to be someone else who takes equally beautiful photos, especially when it comes to our clients, right? They don't necessarily see all the technical intricacies that we might see when we look at a photograph. They just want someone who's going to be able to capture the raw, real, beautiful moments, right? And there are a lot of people out there that can do that. So how are they making their decision? What's the thing that's really going to be the thing that pushes them over to say, this is the person that I want to work with? They're deciding that based on the person that they connect with the most, the person that really speaks about the values that they have that are the same as the values that they share, right? Let's say, for example, you're a family photographer, right? Or a wedding photographer. Whatever type of photography you do that's relationship based in some way. You might have a family who, certain things are very important to them, right? For weddings, making sure that you get lots of photos of their grandma. Maybe their grandma helped raise them. She's a very important person in their life, and making sure that she is captured and taken care of. And there's lots of photos of her, right? Maybe it's a family session who's you know what? My kids are just at this really special age and I really want to capture all of their energy, right? No matter what that looks like, just those real and raw moments. As a photographer, if you are showing up online and you are sharing about those same values in yourself, right? If you're sharing about your family, if you're sharing about your relationships, if you're sharing about those moments that mean so much to you, those are going to be the things that your clients connect with. Those are the things that are going to push them over to say, you know what? Both of these people take really beautiful photos, but I have a connection with this person and I feel like they really understand my values, right? And so this is just kind of some little loving food for thought for you, because I know a lot of the times as photographers, as service providers in that sense, we sometimes think we don't have to really be too concerned about our ideal clients, and understanding their values and like their priorities and who they want to be, how they want to feel, right? Like sometimes we downplay that because we don't think it matters, but I'm here to tell you that it does. And approaching this from like a coach perspective, right? It's so important to understand, who are my ideal clients? Who do they want to be? How do they want to feel? What do they want to have, right? We have to understand that about our clients, because we need to be able to do the deeper work with them, right? Your client might come to you and say, I want to have a successful business, right? But we have to be able to decipher with them and work with them to understand, well, what does success mean for you? Right? Like, how do you want to feel when you're successful? What does success look like? What would your ideal schedule look like if you had a successful business? Like, we need to be able to ask those deeper questions with them to be able to understand that. And so whether maybe you're a brand new coach and you haven't worked with any clients yet, that's kind of a different topic. We can talk about that. I've probably talked about it in other episodes, but if you're someone who has worked with clients at all, right, I would encourage you to do this deeper work with them, right, of really understanding who do they want to be, what are their priorities, how do they want to feel, because when you can start to engage with them on that level and connect with them on that, in that place, you'll then be able to speak to those, right? Like, we all as entrepreneurs, we might have different goals, but there's going to be some overlap. And so once you really understand the intricacies of like this person, where they want to be, who they want to be, how they want to feel, you can start to speak to those in your marketing, right? Like, not calling out the person, not being like, this person wanted to grow their business, right? Like, as a coach, we would never do that. But you can start to speak to those deeper feelings, right? You go from just talking about high level, like, here's how to be successful, and you start talking about those deeper levels of like, here's the things that it's going to take to get you to where you want to go, right? Like, here are those deeper feelings that you need to think about and address, right? And so it's just first and foremost starting to realize, to connect with these clients on a deeper level besides just like what they're hiring you for. Hey there, it's Krista here. If you're a creative business owner that wants to feel more confident in your skills and your ability to create a thriving business, I'd love to invite you to join me for my newest 30-day challenge called The Confident Creative. It's completely free, and inside the Confident Creative Challenge, I'm helping you implement the strategies that will not only help you feel more confident as a creative business owner, but I'm also giving you access into the exact tools that I use to bring in more joy and money to my growing business every day. At the end of the day, our confidence really does affect how much our business can grow. We have to deeply believe in ourselves and feel gratitude for where we are right now if we want to take things to the next level. But oftentimes our doubts, our fears, our worries, our insecurities, all of these things can sometimes take over in our mindset and really keep us playing small. So if you're ready to join me inside the challenge, head on over to heykristamarie.com/challenge. And as soon as you join, you'll get immediate access to the challenge information, the guided PDF workbook, the daily journal prompts, and a beautiful daily checklist to help you track your results. There's honestly no better time to join me than right now. So if you're ready to gain massive clarity, unleash your inner confidence to create that life and business that you're proud of, I can't wait to see you inside the challenge. So again, that's heykristamarie.com/challenge, and I can't wait to see you inside. The next thing is understanding now that we kind of know where they want to be and who they want to be, what they want to have, understanding where are they right now and what's the gap between where they are now and where they want to go, right? And as a photographer, this gap literally could be a lack of photos. Like the gap in this case just might be, here's who I want to be, here's what I want to have. I want to have all of these moments, details, things captured. I want to have photos that I can share with my family, blah, blah, blah. Like that might be where they want to be and where they want to go and the things that are important to them. And the gap from where they are right now just might be like, I don't have someone that I feel like understands that. And I don't have someone that I can hire to help fill this gap, right? And so that gap might be you. It might be your services, right? And making sure that you're doing all of the things that we just talked about to connect with them so that they know that you are the right person for them. But as a coach, coming from that perspective of understanding, okay, here are your deeper goals, right? Here's the person that you want to be. Here's the dreams that you have for yourself in 1, 3, 5, 10 years. And then figuring out, where are we starting from? And making sure that we're coming from a place that's not full of judgment, right? That's not going to be full of blame or any sort of negative self-talk based on where we are right now. And instead, just inviting them and allowing them to really get honest and curious about where they are, right? And so this has been something that's been always a top priority for me. And it's something that I am very proud to share, that this is something that my clients have called out to me time and time again, is my ability to be able to meet them where they are while also helping them get to where they want to go, right? Because there are some coaches out there that have an approach that's like a lot more a lot less approachable, a lot more strict, a little bit more harsh, a little bit more kind of in your face approach of like, you need to change who you are if you're going to get to where you want to go, right? And that's never really resonated with me. So to attract and to be a magnet to these potential clients, I have to really understand where they are right now and how I can speak to them in a way that honors that place, that honors that journey, that honors that person that they are in this moment, while then also acknowledging where it is that they want to go, right? At the end of the day, if I could take this point and wrap it up into one small sentence, your clients want to feel seen. They want to feel seen, and they want to feel understood, and they want to feel like they matter. And they want to feel like someone can appreciate exactly where they are right now. And so really understanding, what are those gaps and how can I speak to where they are right now, and then help them start to bridge those gaps to get to where it is that they want to go. And then lastly, and this is a big one, right? And again, this can go for photographers, this can go to coaches, service providers, is asking yourself, am I emulating and embodying these values, these priorities, right? Am I emulating these things in my life? Am I showing up in a way that allows my audience and potential clients to know and understand that it's also possible for them to have those things that are important to them, right? If your clients want to have a business that allows them to spend time with their family, to take time off work, right? If you're a coach, if you have clients that want to feel like money's not a struggle, who want to feel like they can take a day off without feeling guilty about it, right? Like whatever it is that your clients want to feel and experience, are you emulating and embodying those things right now? Or are you still stuck in a place of lack, of hustle, of tight, strict deadlines, right? How are you approaching your own business? And this was a big one for me as a coach, to be honest, because it's that realization of it's very difficult to approach your business from a place of hustle and attract clients that want to get out of the hustle, You might attract those clients that want to get out of the hustle, but it's going to be really hard for you to help them transition out of that lifestyle if you're still living it. And so really asking yourself, these things, these values, these priorities, these things that are important for my clients, what is the overlap that I have for myself, right? Like, what are the goals that I have? Do I want to have a business that also allows me to take time off without feeling guilty, that allows me to spend time with my family? And am I honoring those values right now? And then as a photographer, right? Same thing. Your clients want to capture intimate, small, beautiful moments. Am I constantly talking online about the hustle, the workload, the amount of things that I have, right? And I know it's funny at the end of the year, how many reels did I see that was like photographers at the end of the year? And it was like just this frantic mess, right, of trying to edit everything. And like for other photographers, it's funny. It's very relatable, right? Like we can all relate to that. But then asking yourself, is this the energy I want to show up for with my clients? Do I want my clients to feel that way, right? Imagine that you had, a bunch of family sessions at the end of the year, and imagine that those clients all follow you on Instagram. And that moment that you captured for them, right? Like those beautiful memories that you captured, if it's kind of summed up in a way of like frantically trying to edit and get these photos out, like, is that really the experience that you want to be providing? And again, this isn't to shame, this isn't to guilt, this isn't like if you shared one of those reels or whatever, like it's okay. But just thinking about it moving forward, how do I want to show up? What do I want my values in my business to look like? And how can I put out that energy that I want to attract? And that's really all. I know that's a lot, y'all. Like I know it's a lot. And I also know that attracting clients can feel really difficult. I'm going to link in the show notes below. I did an episode recently that was titled When You're Struggling to Attract New Clients. And that episode has some really tactical ways of things that you can do and ways that you can show up and approach your business to attract new clients. And so if you want to dive into this even more, I'd love for you to listen into that episode. Like I said, I'll link it below. But I hope that this is helpful. I hope that this is a reminder. The way that you show up for yourself in your business and the way that you present yourself, the energy that you put out there, it really does make a difference. And if you're looking for a place where you can feel supported, if you're looking for a community where you can take this information and evolve and grow and utilize it and implement it and really take your business to that next level, I would love to invite you into my group coaching program, Amplify. I shared about it a lot in the last episode. That's where a lot of the excitement came from, but it really is a one-of-a-kind group coaching program. And it's based around the pillars of helping you build simple and sustainable businesses. It doesn't mean the building part's going to be easy, but we really are going to simplify and take things down to like the most smallest, most actionable steps so that your business can be more sustainable. We're helping you gain more visibility, helping you find ways to put yourself out there to attract those clients, and also to eventually make more money, right? To grow that thriving and successful business that feels really good for you. And so I would love for you to check out the website for more information. You can find it at heykristamarie.com/amplify. It's a really intimate group. We have monthly hot seat coaching calls. We have a community that you would get lifetime access to. And so I'd love for you to check out the website for more information. Again, that's heykristamarie.com/amplify. But all of that said, friend, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for listening in, and I will see you over in the next episode. One last thing before you go, I'd absolutely love it if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. Or if you've already left a review, I'd love for you to share this episode with your business bestie. I love getting to shout out my listeners on the show, and the more listeners that we have, the more that I can help others create a thriving and sustainable business too. Thank you so much again for being a part of this community, and I can't wait to hear your takeaways from today's episode.